Look, in my defense, I can't even remember Mama and Papa and Alice's birthday. I'm bad with dates, okay? Hello. Iduna's was easy to remember because, you know, the 4th day of August. 4 is half of 8. Out of the other 10 times I've said it, you still can't remember. What? I have it within the right week, at least. You gotta give me credit. I know it's the end of July. You better remember my birthday. We have a freaking celebration every year. Mine doesn't count. July. Anywhere from July 25th to July 31st would be the end of July in my brain. Like, Mama and Papa and Mouse's birthdays are technically like end-ish of July, and they're July 19th and July 21st. You're about to crash out? Wait until I introduce to you. It's the 31st. That was my third guess. So it is 4 days before Iduna's then. If that's gonna make you crash out, Ranger, wait until I introduce you to this concept in Japan, where they have a word, they have specific words to mean the beginning of the month and the end of the month that will only be valid on certain days of the month. Like, there's a word for, like, you know, the first, like, 15 days of the month and, like, the last 15 days of the month, basically. We should calibrate the seasons on the calendar? How so? I'm curious because my birthday is always either the last day of spring or the first day of fall, depending on the year. Go to your birthday? I mean, I'm just saying. There's different cultures have different ways of defining time. It's way too cold just for spring and I guess that's a matter of your own perception, because everyone has sort of different ideas. Like, most people will say September is supposed to be fall, but technically it's the end of summer. So summer is technically like July, August, and September, not June, July, August like most people think. And spring is April, May, and June, not March, April, May, like most people think. I think if we take it at the basis term, the season of spring is supposed to be when stuff starts growing again, correct? Technically, most plants in the northern atmosphere will stop growing when the temperature gets below 12 degrees Celsius. technically, it being like 10 degrees Celsius or so in March is still spring weather because the plants can still grow. Used to be more accurate with temperatures? Yeah, it's called climate change. It doesn't match up anymore because we're literally cooking the planet. Yeah, exactly what Ranger's saying. It's like it used to be more consistent because, you know... Well, no, climate change changes more than just heat. It also causes some places to be colder as well. Like, they get frickin' snow in Texas now, like... Didn't Florida get, like, some, like, freak snowstorm not that long ago? The alligators are probably like, what the fuck? I thought great-grandpa was just shitting me when he talked about how apparently, like, the sun disappeared during, like, great-grandpa's time. I hear you, though. But yeah. The seasons are gonna be different where you live in the world as well, so it'd be really hard to quantify it in this global economy. It's just the fact that, like, Japan has their scholastic year start at the same time as the financial year, because the financial year runs April to March. I mean, just the fact that, like, a financial year will run from April until March of the next year is enough to mess up most people when they start accounting. So I can't even imagine how much chaos it would be if we started basing seasons on temperature instead of, like, an arbitrary date. Because, like, in the West, we tend to associate a lot of rain with spring. In Asia, that is, like, June. That's, like, summer. Summer, they get a shit ton of rain. My pupils look like hearts when squinted. I think Zexu at some point thought my pupils could change to hearts for that reason. You want rain? Good old rain. I'm trying to think. When was the last time it rained here? Last week? It's an optical illusion. Oh boy. I'm just full of mysteries, aren't I? There. Da, da. Hi, Jambola. Da, 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 da. God, but yeah, past 24 hours have been crazy in times of the internet news cycle. My goodness. Not gonna comment on all of it, but wow. That's true. Yeah. In happy news, which is hilarious, I just saw that Nimi Nightmare announced she's getting married. I'm like, oh boy. The veil has come down. Congratulations to her. It's just like, wow. And what else? I know Ozzy Osbourne died. Mexton shared that in chat, and some of my other coworkers were talking about it too, which is funny because, like I mentioned, I never heard any of his music because my mom hated the guy. So all I ever knew of him was like he felt like some like unreal monster who like ate like a bat, and I'm like, what? You liked Crazy Train? Fair enough. I, like, literally have not heard any of his stuff. Nice! You're getting an iPhone 11. Yahoo! 200s for an iPhone 11? I guess it depends. I feel like 200 at this point for an iPhone 11 is more than you would get from an actual vendor, but hey. That's a really good deal too. True, yeah. It might be a little bit more, but at least you know it's trustworthy. At least you know if the thing is like bricked, you can actually go and like track down the person who sold it to you and give them a piece of your mind. Gave $250 or more? Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. I couldn't remember. I'm in Canada. Everything's kind of skewed in my perspective. Because I feel like if something is like 200, 300 here, it's like $100 in the States. And when it's not, I'm like, are you sure you're not being scammed? Am I being scammed? The Canadian economy's a scam. I mean, that is just what it is. I'm sure deep down we're all being scammed. Technically, yes. Currency differences. God. Talking about being scammed and stuff like that, why did that make me remember? Oh, what is the exact name of it? Was it the South Seas Trade Company? Yeah, it was. The South Sea Company, God. Yeah. I think I've talked about this before. But for those of you who don't know, the South Sea Company was basically a scam that started in the 1700s. And it got to the point that even the British government got involved, and they're still making payments on the debt for this to this day. You study this? I found out about it on a YouTube channel. But yeah, that's the fun when, you know, there was literally no way to prove this stuff was real because it's like no one saw any of the products. But it was like everyone believed in it, so, you know. Back when, you know, money had to be physical. And I mean, you still technically can't inject money into the economy without it causing inflation and problems. But technically easier to do that now that we don't need to have exact coinage in circulation. Bow, bow! But yeah, talking about scam, that just reminded me of that. I'm like, the biggest scam of them all! Refinancing government debt. Trading more debt for equity. I looked it up on Wikipedia. Public announcement. Inflating the share price. Oh, that is a huge freaking spike and then crash. Where's the Riz 101 with Dee Dee? Well, ask me questions and I'll give you answers. I've already addressed this. It's hard to teach y'all specifically how to Riz when I don't have anything to work off of. All this comes naturally to me. I didn't teach myself. I didn't go to some frickin' Andrew Tate course to learn this. What, Queen Victoria was the governor of this company for a while? Shush! Just remembered him? He's still around. He just keeps popping up in the news being, charged with a variety of crimes. Remember you said it'd be a Valentine's Day thing? Yeah. I was gonna do it, and then, like, I started putting it together, and I was like, I actually have no idea how to go about this. So I stuck a pin in it. Sometimes you can have good ideas, and then be like, I have no idea how to actually execute this. So hopefully one day I will figure it out. I've still got a pin in it, so hopefully one day I'll figure out a way to present this, and then we can go from there. But yeah, Riz is different for everyone. True. Do your own thing, I just be messing. I know. The one bonus of me having the Mondays off is I actually am able to start carving out time to plan these extra streams, because that was part of the problem with all the promises I made of various streams and like the subathon and stuff like that. It's like working full time, have to keep the house maintained, and then streaming 7 days a week. I'm like, I literally don't have time. Something's got to give here. Hello, Andrew. Thank you for the stretch. Alright. Oof, my back. Forgot to ask, how's my day? My day was pretty good. An ice cream truck. Ah, the good old ice cream truck. Fun fact, those like exist. They existed where I grew up, but because I was basically on the edge of the wilderness, I never actually saw them. Like they were in the city proper, but like not where I was. It's time to roll up money? Oh, like you mean like coins? Roll up coins? Yeah. It took me a second. I was like, you're rolling up bills? And I was like, wait! Like a siren call you could never catch. So true. Okay. I'm gonna be right back real quick. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom and then we will get started with UMINEKO. So hold tight for uno momento. Uno momento, sorry. Sorry. I'm never gonna fully shake this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bye. Bye. $0.10 per dollar? Then you could have had a whole other dollar. Canada got rid of pennies. We haven't had pennies technically in ages. I mean, they're technically local currency, but yeah. Did I wash my hands? Of course I washed my hands. Who do you think I am? A middle school boy? Am I wrong, though? Am I wrong, though? Am I wrong, though? Hey? If you're saying hey, I'm right. I feel insulted. So you're right. You're right. See, I'm right. If y'all are all feeling insulted by this, that means I'm right. Oh, Rangers hit me with the push-ups. He's taking that very personally. So you definitely know some people who are middle school age who did not wash their hands. Oh, I know now. I'm saying in middle school, there were probably some that didn't. Or a slight germaphobe. Fair enough. I'm a heavy one. Fair enough. I have soap in the bathroom, and I also have hand sanitizer because the litter boxes are right there. So if I don't want to full-on wash my hands after cleaning the cat's litter box, I could just use the hand sanitizer. So You watched a dude what? And then tell me I didn't watch. Yo. Cultural differences, huh? Yikes, 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 yikes. Hiding your PC? Whoa, that is a big freaking jar. That's like the size of a jar you see in like TV shows where they've got like, you know, specimens in formaldehyde. That's like that's that size of jar. All right. Let me get you guys sound, and then I will do the push-ups. And then we can get started. All right. Be right back. I will die tonight. I actually broke out, it's not like a proper exercise bike. It's one of the ones that can fit under a desk. I broke that out for like 20 minutes after work today. So between that and the push-ups, I am going to sleep like the dead tonight. All right, here we go. Can we redeem bike? Not yet. Maybe one day we can redeem bike. Kind of harder to prove I actually did that one though, because you're not going to be able to hear the bike. I'm sure not gonna lie, I'll think about it. What amount of time would we want me to pedal on the bike for? Because 20 minutes is enough to like really make my core hurt. So like what? 5 minutes would, I mean, you wouldn't be able to hear me if I did 5 minutes, but a minute or two? Okay, we trust you. Pretending to exercise as a VTuber would be crazy. I'm sure there are some out there, but yeah, alright. Someone was yelling outside for a second. Yo, hi, it's me. Thank you for the hydrate. Oof. Lately, I've been doing push-ups against the wall, especially since, like, I skinned my knees real bad a couple weeks ago. So that was the first time doing floor push-ups in a bit, and I'm like, oh, man. Wall push-ups do work, but it is a very different, set of muscles, that's for sure. All right. Yeah, that's a good way to do it if you can't do the usual floor. Yep. Because what is it? The further away your feet are from the wall, the harder it gets. And then it's like, when you get to the point where doing the wall push-ups are decently easy for you. Oh, no, I mean, the only reason push-ups on only reason push-ups would hurt my knees is if I did them on my knees in that case. I was just saying I've been doing most of my exercise, like, as wall push-ups and related stuff because, you know, when your knees are busted, there's a lot of exercises you can't actually do. Busted. Skinned, we'll say. Busted. It makes it sound like I actually broke my kneecaps. But yeah, it's like lunges. Ow. Lunges would be ow, even if you're not directly putting pressure on your knees. You'd probably be stretching the skin a little bit. One of those things where it's like you never realize how much you use XYZ until, like, you know, you've injured it, and then you're like, God damn it. Bing bong, bing bong. It's like when your power goes out and you forget how many things need electricity. Oof. You're not wrong. And now it's like, now with, like, you know, cell phones and data, it's like, okay, I can still, like, do some stuff. But yeah, back when, like, you know, all you had was, like, your, like, Game Boy or whatever, it's like, oh man, I hope I have enough batteries to get through this. The one that always hits me is when the internet goes out, and I'm like, because now, like, you know, I do have some, like, I do have some stuff on DVDs and whatever, but, like, you know, it's like, the internet's down. I technically can't even watch TV when the internet's down. Like, if you have DVDs or Blu-rays, you can watch those, but if you don't, then it's like, well... You fenced? Like you had any pay? You had any pay? I started looking for your DS charger. No! Yeah, that would... Yeah. Ripperoonie pepperoni. Alright. Last time we, salvaged our boy's pride, technically. Jessica was having a crash out in, like, the Shadow Realm because everyone was about to, like, condemn her boy and say he killed her. And Battler was like, you know what? No, I'm not buying this. And that was where we left off, basically. Like, Battler had to concede the round to Beatrice because he did have because it was either he accept magic or he starts suspecting one of the people he knows, and he was like, I can't do either, so I forfeit for now. Still remember some of the skills? Well, that's good. Now, if only you can have, what's the word I'm looking for? Now someone just give you a very pointy stick, and maybe you can defend yourself from gosh knows what. Alright, with Jessica's death, it became certain that the culprit was hiding. Whoops. Hang on. I'm gonna move my mug, because I just dinged it with my elbow, and I'm like, this is a disaster waiting to happen. As Iduna said recently, she's like, Dee Dee, I love you with all of my being, but you have that ADHD sway, and it is so powerful in your body that it is an accident waiting to happen. swinging your sword tomorrow. Very nice. But oh yeah, speaking of Iduna, my bestie, I think I've talked about this before, but we are actually, like about 40 days apart in age. Because she was born August 4th, and I was born September 22nd of the same year. So it's funny when her birthday comes around, because I'll go like, ha, you're old. And then she's like, you're only 6 weeks behind me. And then my birthday comes around and she's like, ha, now you're old too. This is what happens when you know someone for like 15 years. Pretty soon? God, I know. I'm like here like, I need to plan my birthday stuff, and then I was like, no, I've still got time, and then I look at the calendar, I'm like, never mind. I don't have time. We're getting to the point that if I was gonna commission like art or stuff for my birthday, we're starting to get close to what would be considered a rush order. Not quite, but you know, we're cutting it. Alright. With Jessica's death, it became certain that the culprit was hiding somewhere nearby, and that they'd come for our lives if they had the chance. You're still planning last year's? Oi! Technically, I am still redeeming rewards from last year's. Not planning it. And that's my fault for being insecure about, what I could do for content, and completely underestimating how freaking generous you guys would be and how desperately you guys want me to read books and stuff. The wheel will come back. I'm like, I don't know what we'll put on the wheel this year, but we'll bring the wheel back. According to Genji-san, when tomorrow morning comes, the boat should arrive. The boat had a radio. I mean, you could also just get on the boat, go to Nichima Island, and use an actual telephone there. We'd probably be able to contact the police directly with that. We can only hope. All of us gathered in the parlor and decided to wait quietly until tomorrow. I proposed that we should search throughout the mansion for clues about the culprit, but Aunt Rosa rejected that, saying that if we managed to corner the culprit, or maybe provoke them, it might lead to our third murder. Oh, like a third incident. I was gonna say, there's been more than 3 murders, Rosa. What are you talking about? Like, they're conflicting and undecided whether or not Kanon is dead. But there's still 7 dead bodies. I'm like, we're past 3 murders here, technically. That was probably the right thing to do. If a bunch of amateurs like us investigated, there's no way we'd find anything. It would be wisest to focus on protecting ourselves without doing anything unnecessary, and leave it to the police starting tomorrow. One sec, I'm gonna turn on my fan. I had it off, but as soon as I put headphones on to stream, I'm like, it's hot now. Never realize how much covering your big old cat ears contributes to how you feel the summer. We'd been tense at the beginning, but other than Aunt Rosa, most of us had spent all morning watching TV and getting bored, so our sense of danger had faded considerably. Ah, yes, back in the day when you'd get bored with TV because there were only, like, 12 channels. Because this is 1986, and they're on an island, so they're picking up, like, only the very basic package over the radio waves. When we thought about it, yes, 6 adults certainly had been killed together in the first murder. But that made it seem like some backhanded method like poison had been used. And for the second murder, we figured those 2 became sacrifices because they'd been unfortunately isolated from the rest of us. From this, it was possible to imagine that the culprit wasn't a large number of adults, and that they wouldn't be capable of killing this large group gathered in the parlor all at once. Right now, in this parlor, there's George Aniki and me, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goda-san, Shannon-san, Kumasawa-san, and then Dr. Nanjo, for a total of 9 people. There's barely more of you than there were, like, adults that got sacrificed at the Halloween party. You just barely have an advantage here. And if just one person in this group of 9 is the culprit, then you barely got an advantage here. Furthermore, Aunt Rosa was even armed with a gun. Did she know how to use the gun, though? Surely with this many people staying in this room, they wouldn't be able to touch us so easily. That feeling of security, along with the passage of time, allowed us to recover from the shock of that morning bit by bit. By the way, lunchtime had just ended for us. However, it had been a canned food lunch, a far cry from the dinner last night that Goda-san had skillfully made for us. They're back to the canned food. God. I wonder what canned food prepared in the 80s tastes like. Because I feel like canning methods, at least as far as we know on the surface, haven't changed that much. But I don't know. I feel like there was probably a lot more salt used back in the day. And Rosa also suspected that poison may have been used in the first murder. So we probably couldn't deny the possibility that the culprit had snuck into the kitchen during all that confusion in the morning and mixed poison in with the ingredients there. And Rosa gave orders to all of us saying that until the police came, we mustn't put anything into our mouths except safe things like canned food. I mean, there are ways to contaminate canned food, but yeah. As a cook, Goda must have felt very let down. Apparently eager to display his skills anyway, he said he wanted to at least grab some plates and arrange the canned food on them. At first, Aunt Rosa had been a little reluctant, examining each one of the plates that were brought, but she hadn't been able to find anything to complain about. And Goda's chef's pick canned food lunch combo was born. He's doing his best, you know? We'll give him some credit. In the first chapter, we only ever saw his bad side. At least now we're seeing his attempt to, like, at least still do a good job. Goda-san said something about taste being savored not just with the tongue, but with the eyes. I see. It's the same canned food we ate for breakfast, but it feels like something completely different. Ugh, Battler. Look, look! This is the wolves and sheep puzzle. Ugh! As I was sitting lazily on the sofa with no desire to watch TV, Maria came over, pulled a picture book out of her handbag, and held it out to me. What's that book? Wolves and sheep puzzle? Let's see. Wolves and sheep puzzle. It was a phrase that Aunt Rosa had said this morning when we'd gone to call on Jessica. At the time, I hadn't known what it meant, and right after that, there was that uproar when Jessica's corpse was discovered, so I'd forgotten about it completely. The book that Maria held out to me looked something like a foreign picture book or something that had been translated. When I opened it, I realized it was a book stuffed with riddles. Oh, so you have a few wolves and a few sheep, okay? The puzzle is how you take them to the other side using one boat. I've heard of games with rules like that. So this is a version with wolves and sheep. It was a very simple puzzle passed on from long ago. Let's try posing a question. On the right bank, there are 2 wolves and 2 sheep. There's a boat that as many as 2 animals can ride on, and using it, you have to move all 4 of them to the opposite left bank. That's the puzzle. There are 2 rules. The first is regarding the boat. Yes. I first encountered this in an old Professor Layton game. Even a single wolf or a single sheep can paddle it, but it can only hold 2 animals. The second rule is regarding the wolves. When they are greater in number than the sheep in any location, they attack the sheep and it's game over. For example, at the start of the game, let's say the 2 sheep get in the boat and go to the other side. Then one sheep gets off and the other goes back to the first bank. When it does, there are 2 wolves on the first bank and a single sheep returns there. When that happens, the number of wolves is greater, so the sheep is attacked and it's game over. On either bank or even the boat, there must never be more wolves than sheep. Some guy tried to give this riddle before in a pub with no visual aids. In a pub would be even worse because then you've got alcohol involved. Some people are not great at explaining even when they're sober. And you've got to shuttle them all across under these conditions. By the way, the right answer is to move both wolves to the opposite bank in the first turn. Yo! Spoilers! Thanks, Battler. You've ruined everything. So much hate. Frickin' Ushino Mia Battler. Just. We gotta feed them to the wolves, guys. You ruined everything. Then one wolf comes back. On the second turn, you move 2 sheep to the opposite bank. Then one wolf comes back. Then on the third turn, you put that last wolf that was on the right bank on the boat and cross to the opposite side, and congratulations, transport successful. Partway, there may be the same number of wolves and sheep in the boat or on either side, but that isn't a problem. You only lose when the number of wolves is greater. Imagine the sheep gain up on the wolf. The book uses wolves and sheep as an example, but lots of people probably know of this game using different characters. It looked like Maria wanted to test whether I too could solve the puzzle she knew how to solve. As she kept showing me different pages, saying, solve this one, and this one's hard. So what was happening when Aunt Rosa first mentioned this puzzle? That's right. When we decided to go and get Jessica, we talked about how many men should go. And Aunt Rosa mentioned the wolves and sheep puzzle, saying we should all go together. Wait a sec. That can only mean one thing. Aunt Rosa was saying that there was a wolf among us. So she was thinking that we'd be safe if the number of wolves and sheep was in a balance. But that the wolves would bare their fangs if the situation changed? At the time we found our parents' corpses, Aunt Rosa already suspected that the servants might be wolves. She'd sniffed out the possibility that, while she didn't know whether it was all of them or some of them, there were wolves hiding among them. That's no surprise. The murder scene was very elaborate. It's easy to imagine that there were multiple culprits. And because she'd reached that conclusion when we went to Jessica's room and learned that Jessica had been killed after being alone with a servant, Kanon, it isn't hard to imagine why Aunt Rosa suspected the servant so persistently. You servants, Goda-san is going to the kitchen to clean the dishes. Just in case, would you all please go with him? My apologies, everyone. Let us all go as a group. Shannon, Kumasawa, we are going. Yes, 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 coming. Oh, 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 oh. Well then, George-san. Excuse me for now. Yes. Third in chat. Hi, Butter. Take care. Aunt Rosa, could I go as well? I'm sorry, but would you remain here, George-kun? Thank you for the stretch. There's something I want to talk to you about. Is that so? Sorry, Shannon. Anyway, take care. Don't be alone. Yes. I'm sorry, Dr. Nanjo. I wanted to consult you about something. Yes, what could that be? The servants put the dishes in empty cans on the serving cart and started to head out into the corridor. Behind them, Aunt Rosa was talking to Dr. Nanjo about something in a small voice. Understood. I will go. Yes, I'm counting on you. Dr. Nanjo closed the book he had been reading, rose from the sofa, and followed after the servants. And Rosa stuck her head out into the hallway, and after seeing they were completely out of sight, she closed the door and spoke. Listen up, everyone. With that, everyone here is an Ushiro Miya. Yes, that's true. So, you're saying that you've chased out the wolves, Aunt Rosa? With that one sentence, Aunt Rosa's gaze grew sharp. Apparently, she had picked up on the sarcasm. She laughed lightly. Your mind sure works fast, Battler-kun. I like clever kids. It means there's less to explain. Oh, Battler's smart? Can you solve this? Page 64 is hard. Oh! Maria, go watch TV for a bit. Mama wants to talk with Battler-kun and George-kun. Oh. At least she did hit her for saying ooh this time. Aunt Rosa, I heard about the puzzle from Battler-kun. I don't think it's wrong to be on our guards, but I also think there's such a thing as being too suspicious. Whether the real culprit is Beatrice or not, there is reason for us to suspect that the servants are in on it. In in the first murder, where Nissan and the others were killed. They were treated very brutally, right? Did that look like something that could have been done alone? I mean, if it was Beatrice? Probably. And what about the master key and the door to Jessica's room? Is it that proof that one of the servants was involved? Only the master key could have locked the door to Jessica's room. So, we can only suppose that one of the servants did it. No. Wait. Spin the chessboard around. Hey, more money in the bank account! For those who don't know, we started a joke in Chapter 1 because of how many times they spin the chessboard around, that every time they talk about spinning the chessboard, you have to put $1 in your savings account. So that's what's up with that. That's strange, Aunt Rosa. After killing Jessica, why would the culprit go to all the trouble of locking the door? The fact that it was locked made it inevitable that the owners of the master keys would be suspected. There was no reason for them to go to all the trouble of locking the door. That's right. It's just as Battler Kun says. There was no need for them to go all the trouble of making themselves look suspicious. Yes. That's an interesting thought. Of course, I also thought that. If that's the case, then the person who looked... Or sorry, the person... Blah, blah, blah. Let's try that again. If that's the case, then the person who locked it wanted to cast suspicion on the servants and locked it without a master key. But that's impossible. Right? That's right. If there existed some trick that could lock that door without a master key, that would make this a great disguise for casting doubt on the servants. If the culprit's goal was for us to isolate ourselves from the group, they could attack us one by one. If the culprit's goal was for us to isolate ourselves from the group so they could attack us one by one, this trick would be the most effective at giving rise to paranoia. But there was no way to lock that door without using a master key. Really, though? I guess it's not like some of those other locks. Like there's the locks here where if you twist, there's like the little tab on the inside doorknob, right? And if you twist that and then leave the room and close the door, it'll lock it without a key. I guess these are those kinds of doorknobs. How can you be sure there's no way to lock that door without a master key? Is it that devil's proof, like Rudolph Nissan was talking about earlier? Maybe it was locked by some method we can't think of. Even if we can't think of a way, we can't deny the possibility of some unknown trick being used. That's true too, I guess. So, is that it? No smoke without fire again? I don't know the practical details of the trick, but I have a general idea. My apologies, but if we make the assumption that Kanon-kun was the culprit, it can be explained extremely easily. Even as to why there was no corpse. Huh? But Kanon-kun didn't have a master key, right? Putting aside the other servants, at least Kanon-kun shouldn't have been able to lock the door. I see. So that's why you told us to search in the closet and everywhere else right after we entered Jessica's room. Aunt Rosa, your mind works faster than I would have guessed based on how you normally act. The brain speed of a little sister is always the big sister's -1. Interesting. Never would have thought of it that way. Right now, there's no one I need to worry about offending, which is certainly a relief. George Aniki realized she was referring to Aunt Ava, and seemed a little uncertain about how he should take that sarcasm. I'm sorry. Could you explain it so even I can understand? Kanon-kun's master key was in Jessica-chan's pocket, closed up inside a closed room. And the door was locked. It should have been impossible to put it in her pocket from outside the room, no matter what trick he used. That's not it, Aniki. If it was done that way, Aunt Rosa's thinking of... This trick could only be used by Kanon-kun. Plus, the door could be locked without using a key, while the master key was still in Jessica's pocket. And it would also result in his corpse disappearing. How? Y'all stop teasing him, start explaining this poor guy. It's like my brain is frying. How could he lock the door without a key? It's simple. George-kun, when you return home, you lock the door, right? You twist the knob, click, and you're done, right? Huh? No, Kanon-kun was nowhere to be found. Looks like you've got it, Aniki. That's what Aunt Rosa was searching the room for. She was searching for Kanon-kun, who had locked the door from the inside and stuck the key in Jessica's pocket. Huh. But before hiding somewhere, waiting for us to walk right past him. It was the simplest kind of closed room trick. It meant him hiding inside the closed room after the murder was committed. Then, all he had to do was to get out after those who discovered the body left, and the closed room murder would work perfectly. You think I'll go? Okay, Andrew, have a good rest. Take care. When we searched that room, we didn't find anything. But, for all we know, that room might have had a hidden passage only the servants know about. We don't know where such a thing might have been hidden. But if we assume there was such a passage, we can conclude that it was impossible for everyone but him. Well, about that line of reasoning, I thought of that too at the very beginning. It's the kind of reasoning I hate most, so I want to destroy it right at the start. Kanan-kun was killed in this room, right? You apparently suspected that Kanan was the culprit, so you maybe repeat this to destroy that possibility right off the bat. Yes, I understand. So this is what I thought next. I made a theory where there were actually 3 people in that room. Jessica and Kanan-kun were victims, and the culprit, the guest Beatrice, was also there with them. You want to make it the human me who committed the crime without using magic. I see. A bizarre theory that suits you perfectly. I guess that you killed those 2, then locked the door from the inside. And that you carried Kanan-kun's corpse away using some secret method that normal people wouldn't notice. In other words, you used a secret door to escape. But you told me it in red. You said no kind of hidden door existed in that room. Indeed. There can exist no secret passages that you all are not aware of. Was it Knox who said it, or was it Van Dyne? Ah, yes. Old detective people. Like, they're all... Van Dyne was a mystery writer. I can't remember what his books are, but I recognize the name. It seems that in mystery novels, there must never be hidden passages. I simply followed that etiquette. So even without having to thoroughly search the room, a famous detective could conclude that no secret passages exist. Humans playing detective have it so easy. Damn you talking so big. Thanks. Thanks to the mighty witch being so diplomatic, I get to conclude that the room has no hidden doors without searching the whole thing. Indeed, there are no hidden doors in this room. There is no way to get in or out other than the door and the windows. Which means that the theory Aunt Rosa is so confident in is wrong. Also annoyingly, it's impossible to disprove her theory. RIP. If you, the witch, say there are no hidden doors in red, then it's settled. However, no matter how much a human like me tries to argue against her, Aunt Rosa probably won't accept it. Humans can't prove that there's no hidden door. It's a devil's proof. Damn. It sure is convenient being a witch. No way! To call Canoncon the culprit because of a hidden door we don't even know exists, I can't accept that. If you can't accept it, then find me a different theory that's more convincing. There is none. I've been thinking this whole time. There's no other option. George Kun, you and Shannon are close, right? He literally proposed to her, Rip. I imagine that's why you find it so hard to accept that all the servants are culprits. Even I don't want to believe that Shannon is in league with the culprit. But whether they're all in it together or not, there's definitely a culprit, or maybe an accomplice in that group. That point alone is something you absolutely need to understand. Guess there were wolves besides Kanonkan. Does that mean the uproar you caused by accusing Kanonkan in Jessica's room was to gauge the reactions of the other servants? Yes, that's right. And as a result, I began to suspect them even more. There certainly is a wolf among the servants. Certainly. And just like that in the wolves and sheep puzzle, while they may be docile most of the time, they'll surely attack if they get the chance. Jessica-chan was a lone sheep on the boat. In Maria's version of the puzzle, they may not attack when there's an equal number of wolves and sheep, but our puzzle is different. Depending on the situation and the number of people, they'll attack, even if there is a balance. Just like when Jessica-chan was killed. Then there's something that makes me mad. If that's true, then when you made Shannon go to the kitchen, you put her in a dangerous situation, didn't you? We should go to the kitchen right now, too. No matter who may or may not be a wolf, if staying together means we remain in balance, I think we should keep it that way. Shannon-chan went to see father along with Genji-san. At that time, she was supposedly isolated, but she wasn't killed. Was it because Genji-san wasn't a wolf either? Wrong. It's because they were both wolves. Shannon isn't the kind of person who would take part in a crime. Can't let a comment like that slide, even from you, Aunt Rosa. I demand that you take back what you just said. I hate saying this in front of Anarchy, but the way you're arguing feels just like something Aunt Ava might say. It's like you're automatically assuming that you're right, unless we can counter your argument. Looks like you can't fight against your own blood after all, Aunt Rosa. Even I can't think of myself as very praiseworthy right now. But guess what? I'm a mother. I'd become a demon to protect Maria's safety. You're the demon that threatens her safety the most, though. Because you beat the shit out of her on the regular. I really wish I could shut myself away somewhere alone with her. But I also plan to act as a mother to you two. Right now, you're practically my children. Even if you aren't my own, I won't forsake you, no matter what. Well, thanks for that. I just want to warn you not to be careless as your mother. Staying where I can see you at all times. I will protect you. And at the same time, you'll be observing us to make sure we aren't wolves. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Can you and Rosa prove that you aren't a wolf yourself? Yes, I can. That's a quick answer. How? With this. This is my proof. And Rosa lifted her gun and pointed the barrel at me. But it was only for an instant. She immediately lowered the gun, laughing impishly. But to me, the time I spent staring down the barrel of the gun felt like an eternity. Zon with the emoji. Yeah, that is that energy. How's that gonna prove that you aren't the culprit, Aunt Rosa? Think about it. What if I were the culprit? Would I really give up the once-in-a-lifetime chance I got when the servants left? I could just shoot you, bang, and think of a fitting excuse later. Something like Beatrice appeared outside the window and started shooting at us. I'd just need to leave 2 empty cartridges on the ground and say I fired back at her twice. Well, that's a crazy violent way to argue it, but that makes sense. There's something Klaus Nissan used to say all the time long ago. Might is right. Oh, God. Not this saying. Maybe that really is true. I'm sorry, you two. I've somewhat lost my composure after all the crimes since this morning. You know how I normally am, so I must seem desperate and a bit short-tempered right now. But please understand. I want to protect you from a malicious culprit. I will become a demon to do that. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry for saying something that's angered you. Bather Khan? George Khan? Let's make up. An unsatisfied expression rose to George Oniki's face. He probably couldn't forgive the damage done to Shannon's honor. What about me? Several bits of circumstantial evidence hinted at the servants' participation. I didn't want to believe that one of them was the culprit, or possibly colluding with the culprit. But in our current situation, that was little more than wishful thinking. Whom should I believe? In the first place, who is the culprit? Are there accomplices? And if so, how many? It seems I've only been suspecting the people we know. I quickly forgot that 19th person. The guest Beatrice, who arrived yesterday and boldly claimed to be the Golden Witch. In fact, I still haven't seen her face. I heard she greatly resembled the witch in that portrait. I haven't seen her directly. No matter how hard I try, it doesn't really feel to me like a 19th person is on this island. So I've been subconsciously hallucinating that the culprit's one of the 18. Hallucinating? I don't think hallucinating means what you think it does, Battler. Hallucinating implies that you're seeing stuff that's not real. Damn it. Come out, Beatrice. If you're the bad guy, then act like the bad guy and show yourself laughing in a high-pitched voice and mocking us. just like a bad guy in one of those dramas, who, even when they're exposed as the culprit, aggressively says, "Where's your proof?" Where's your proof? Shut up, no more talking. Damn, you really showed her, Battler. There were 5 humans in the kitchen, but it was very quiet, filled only with the sound of the rain. It was only accentuated by the sound of Shannon and Kumasawa washing the dishes. Goda was using the leftovers from breakfast and lunch as ingredients for a soup. Ah, yes. Leftover dregs of canned food. Mmm, yummy. You gotta make do with what you can, I suppose. Rosa had suspected that poison might have been added to the food, so they decided to eat canned goods, but it hadn't been too satisfying. But Goda thought she was being too cautious, so he was spontaneously creating a soup to be served only to those who wanted some. Shannon and Kumasawa were washing the dishes that the food had been arranged on. On the inside, they thought maybe Goda should wash them since he'd been the one who wanted the food arranged on plates in the first place. But they left their complaints unsaid for the time being. Oh, come on. Is washing dishes really that bad? Come on. Genji and Nanjo were facing each other across a crude chess set that had many years of experience. The game had still only just begun. The game is afoot! And because of the opening game of these experienced players have been honed to perfection, it looked like a ceremony where they just moved specified pieces in a specified order. That's a nice aroma. I wanted to get this from canned food. It was made only from sealed ingredients, so there won't be any poison mixed in. I am making enough for everybody, so please eat. Of course, I will also taste for poison. Please feel secure and eat. It really is a nice aroma. Goda-san, the food you cook really is delicious. Being able to create delicious food when you buy delicious ingredients is hardly special. My master taught me that a true cook needs to perfect their ability to make delicious food from whatever is on hand. That was a good master. Thanks to him, it looks like we'll get to enjoy some truly delicious soup. Good soup! Although, it is a shame that it was made from ingredients intended for all of the family members to eat. Sir, why you gotta say it like that, huh? I'm sure Rosa-san is tired after everything that happened this morning. It is only natural. But thanks to that, we get to drink some soup made from delicious ingredients. Oh, oh, oh! Rosa had fervently warned everyone that they didn't understand the danger they were in and that they must assume that poison was mixed in with the food. The mood at the time had led them to agree. But hunger wasn't something that could be swayed by a momentary emotion like that. It's true. When you're hungry and desperate, you will even eat bread that has mold on it. The risk of death is, the possible risk of death from, like, ingesting mold is overpowered by the certainty of death by starvation. Ironically, we've ended up with a soup that we normally wouldn't be able to savor. If possible, I would like to serve it to everyone in the parlor, but... seeing that it would violate Rosa-sama's instructions, you had best give up on that idea. It's enough that only those who want to eat it do so. Oh, skillfully taking a breather when no one's looking is also an important skill for a servant, isn't it? When Kumasawa cackled, Shannon and Goda laughed too. It seemed that in this space where only their fellow servants were gathered, they could relax quite a bit. Shannon didn't like Goda's occasional dishonesty, but she knew that there was no falsehood in his childish smile when he cooked, nor in his desire for people to enjoy his food. So even though it was a little aggravating to be made to wash the dishes, she couldn't really hate him. However, they couldn't have dreamed that Rosa was calling them wolves in the parlor, the same moment they were spending their time peacefully like this. At that time, several of the servants heard a sound like something being dragged, and then a thump. It seemed like the sound made by a servant outside the back door when they were carrying a mountain of trash bags on a rainy day. Or maybe when a servant was returning from work wearing a raincoat. So, at first, that sound didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary to any of them. They soon realized, right now, everyone was either in the kitchen or in the parlor. So who could possibly be at the back door? All the servants looked at each other, then checked to make sure that each of them knew what that sound meant. Who could it be? The servants knew the mansion's layout well, so they understood how incomprehensible it would be for someone from the parlor to actually go outside in this typhoon, go all the way around and come up to this back door. Then, was it Kinzo? They couldn't imagine that Kinzo, who never left to study, would dash out in the middle of this typhoon and come to the back of the house, where only low-class people ever entered or exited. That wasn't our imagination, was it? Shannon and Kumasawa drew close together, fearfully looking at the back door. Who is it? As Goda fearfully approached the back door, he called out. And his eyes flashed towards the butcher's knife that sat in a nearby sink. He didn't pick it up yet, because there was still a possibility that this was a member of the family. However, that possibility was impossible. There was no response from across the door to Goda's initial question. Maybe the voice had been so quiet that it hadn't reached through the wind and rain outside. Genji-san? Yes. Stand back, Dr. Nanjo and the women. Who in the world could it be? Genji took a knife with a classical design from a stationery box placed near the chess set. It was something to be used instead of a paper knife to open envelopes for statements of deliveries and bills. But it was still a knife, so the blade on it could injure someone. Genji hid it in his sleeve with a well-practiced motion. Then he approached the back door himself, giving Goda a silent nod. Goda cautiously approached the back door and slowly started to open it. Oh! What is it? A shadow of a person silently shuffled into sight, landed on its knees, and fell over. Goda fell backwards onto his backside and couldn't get up. The demon shadow was soaked with rain, smeared with mud, and drenched with blood. Kanon-kun! Kanon-kun! Huh? Oh, this is sus. Kanon, are you alright? He's covered in blood! Dr. Nanjo! It was Kanon. His breathing was feeble, and the puddles of mud he left were quickly drenched bright red. When Nanjo held him and turned him face up, there was a deep, gruesome wound right in the center of his chest, as though he'd been stabbed there by a spear or something. Even now, deep red blood poured out from there. This is horrible! What shall we do? Get a first aid kit? A first aid kit? Kano-kun, place your hand against the wound. Please push firmly. Let's carry him to the bed in the servant room. Everyone, please lend a hand. Come now, Kanon-san. Please hang in there a little longer. Hang in there? It'll be okay. So don't take your hand from the wound. All right, let us carry him into the servant room. Wouldn't he be too weak to put pressure on the wound? Kumasawa, inform Rosa-sama that we have found Kanon. Wait, not Rosa-sama. Please wait. Kanon said not Rosa-sama. What do you mean, Kanon-kun? This is no time for that. Let us quickly carry him to the servant room. Kumasawa, do not tell Rosa-sama yet. We will do it after we hear the situation from Kanon. Yes. Yeah, I told him not to tell Rosa. Right after appearing in this state, this could only mean something very disquieting. An eerie anxiety rose to their faces. Come now, everyone. Let's hurry and carry him. Quickly! Quickly! Where are y'all taking him? That's quite the distance. Just put him on the floor and do first aid. Then again, the floor of the kitchen would be cold, and it wouldn't make things better for him. So I mean, at least put him on the carpet in the hallway or something. Kanon's wound was unbelievably deep, and judging from Nanjo's pale face, it was a miracle that he was still conscious. This is horrible. He appears to have been stabbed by something like a spear. If it hasn't reached his lungs, then I might be able to do something. At any rate, we must stop the bleeding. No matter how much Nanjo tried to wipe off that gushing deep red blood, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't wipe it all away. And each time the wound was aggravated, causing Kanon to cry out in anguish. Kanon-kun! Kanon-kun! Hang in there! Hang in there! Dr. Nanjo, here's a new towel. Oh, how horrible. What is his condition? In all honesty, this is so severe that I cannot believe he's alive. Maybe the location of the wound was fortunate, but the blood loss is too horrible. Blood transfusion is necessary, but that will be impossible until tomorrow. Rosa-sama to, don't talk, Kanan-kun. Your wound will open. Rosa-sama came to my lady and me, and... What did you say? Rosa? Sama did? Oh, could that mean? Could that mean? Are you certain? Yes, I'm certain. It was Rosa-sama. Come now, don't speak anymore. Kumasawa-san, please grab another first aid kit. How many first aid kits are there in this place? Genji-san? Is it possible Rosa-sama did such a thing? I do not know. Disregarding Nanjo and Kumasawa, who were struggling hard and stained with blood as they tried to stop the bleeding, Genji and Goda faced each other. Because if what Kanan-kun had said was the truth, Rosa was the culprit who killed Jessica. Mercy, Rosa. How could you do that to milady? I'll kill you. I will kill you! Ah! Kanan screamed even more hatefully. His hate-filled voice made it seem like he was seeing Jessica being harmed right before his eyes. Certainly, Miss Rosa-sama may have had a reason to kill milady. If everyone in the Ushido-miya family were destroyed, the inheritance would all go to Rosa-sama. If so, Battler-sama and George-sama are in danger. Not only is Rosa-sama holding a gun, but right now they are the only ones in the lounge. Genji-san, isn't this situation quite perilous? Shannon suddenly ran out into the corridor. Her expression was complex and tragic, as though she didn't know what to believe. Shannon ran. To where? The inside of the mansion had been scrupulously cleaned, so it probably wouldn't be easy to find. She might find it if she searched the rose garden, but they'd probably all been lost in this wind and rain. That's right. The boiler room isn't cleaned very often. If she went there, she might be able to find it. Shannon ran downstairs to find that in the underground boiler room. Did some medicine take effect at the brink of death? Or was Kanan finally beyond feeling pain? For the time being, at least, Kanan's painful gasping had subsided. Nanjo apparently did view this as a very good sign, and he did let his eyes off Kanan for a second. Kumasawa firmly gripped Kanan's hand and kept encouraging him so that the willpower keeping him alive didn't fade away. Genji and Goda seemed uncertain how to respond to the truth Kanan had risked his life to deliver. Rosa-sama's gun surely has 4 or 5 shots loaded. That is no small number, but loading cartridges into her Winchester should require quite a lot of practice. She might be able to get one shot off, but if everyone attacks her at once, we should be able to take the gun from her before she shoots again. We may have a doctor on this island, but we have no access to medicine and no hospital. If the location of the shot is bad, that person will die. I understand that, but more importantly, if we don't move quickly, there's a chance another crime will occur. Seems to me that Rosa-sama managed to cleverly chase us out. Maybe George-sama and Battler-sama are being killed right now. Oh, if our foe is so dangerous, wouldn't it be better if we didn't provoke them too much? Tomorrow is still a long way off. We can't even imagine what strategy she might use. Genji-san, we should take action first. If we can at least steal the gun under some pretext, it might work out. There are 4 or 5 cartridges, are there not? That means there aren't enough to kill all of us. As long as we don't carelessly provoke her, surely even Rosa-sama wouldn't be that rash. No, she said it. She said she'll massacre all of us. Kanon, who they thought was sleeping quietly, suddenly started talking brightly. Thank you for the care package, Ranger! Almost as though he'd been awake this whole time and had suddenly opened his mouth. Kanon looked firm and steady, which relieved Nanjo a bit, but considering the depth of that wound, could it wipe away a certain creepy feeling? Knew, because he was doctor. After losing so much blood, Kanon might easily have lost consciousness. And yet, somehow, he was still intensely aware of his surroundings. Was it youth? Or was it tenacity? Sometimes the power of human life surpassed common knowledge. While stopping the bleeding, Nanjo had groped around a bit inside the bleeding hole with tweezers, making sure there were no foreign objects inside the affected area. And the great depth of the wound had shocked him. It had certainly reached as far as his lungs, and yet... No, but the fact that he's still alive is wonderful. But Kanon had spoken clearly. He'd hatefully stated that the one named Rosa made this wound, cursing and raging over and over and over. Those aren't his normal eyes. This is not Kanon. Hello? Impostor! We got an impostor among us! He wants to kill everyone by any means necessary before the typhoon passes, so that she can have the master's wealth all to herself. He told me that clearly. Damn. What a person. Genji-san, what should we do? Are there any weapons we can... I find it hard to believe. To think that Rosa-sama would say something like that. Genji-sama, it isn't a question of whether you believe it or not. She told me. I heard it. Why won't you believe me? I mean, you're looking kinda terrifying. Don't get up. You'll harm your wound. Kanon sat up on the bed, speaking to Genji, who didn't seem to be willing to believe Kanon's story. She'll definitely kill all of us. She must have killed everyone in the parlor by now. If we don't kill her first, we'll definitely be killed first. Just like how I was killed first, everyone will also be killed first. Excuse me? Just like how you were killed first? I'm sorry. I'm sorry? Kanon. Kanon, you wanna clarify that, buddy? Huh? 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 Bro just admitted that he's the Walking Dead here. Kill or be killed. Kill or be killed, or kill or be killed. Kanon-san, does that really not hurt? Oh, this? This is nothing. What do you mean it's nothing? Really, is it a big deal? Okay, demon. It doesn't even hurt anymore. It's really nothing. As Kanon said that, and to hide the bandages that had been painstakingly wrapped. The gruesome hole in his chest was immediately exposed. Okay! Alright then. You mustn't do that! Lie down quickly! It's fine. Hey, see? This is nothing, right? Oh my god. Kanon showed off his gaping wound, which was still slowly spitting out foamy blood. Everyone averted their eyes reflexively. Look, I told you it wasn't a serious wound at all. Stop, you mustn't play with the wound. Come on, see? It isn't a deep wound at all. Look. Whoa! Now he's just trying to freak him out. Kanon held up 2 fingers, showed them to everyone, and slowly started to stick them into the gruesome wound right in the center of his chest. Spongy, slimy, squishy, wet. Fingers went in deep, all the way to their bases. Yeah, that would do it. Stop it! Stop it! His fingers were sticking all the way into his chest, up to their bases, and slowly pulled them out exactly the same way. Ugh. The fingers he pulled out were stained a sticky, solid, deep red color. And there was even a thread hanging. Fingers were covered up to their bases in deep red. What in the world? See? It is not a serious wound at all. Okay, crazy child. The door slammed open and Shannon appeared. Even after she saw Kanon stand with fresh blood, her impregnable expression didn't falter. Hey, Nason, where'd you go? I'm on the verge of death here, so where'd you go? That's right. I went to the boiler room. There was something I had to find. More importantly, there's something I need to ask you. Are you really Kanon? What? I mean... Bro just stuck his fingers in his chest, and you're really asking? It was only natural. Everyone believed he was Kanon, so they couldn't understand the meaning of Shannon's question. When they looked, they noticed Shannon was holding a handkerchief in her hand. It was filthy. It looked like it had been used to wipe up some trash or dust. And while holding that, she approached Kanon, drawing closer to his feet. What is that? It's a handkerchief with a spider's web wiped on it. Why would you bring something like that? If you're Kanon-kun, you should be fine. But if spiders are your natural enemy, I thought you might not like it. Are you kidding? Why would I hate spiders? Sorry, I'll try it. Shannon-san! When When Shannon brought that handkerchief close to Kanon's thigh, something happened in an instant. It happened all at once. The human eye couldn't have followed it. Kanon jumped like a wild goat, fleeing from the thing Shannon was holding. Goats don't like spiders, apparently. Or demon goats, anyway. Then, from his arms, some kind of afterglow flashed purple and drew a curve through space. That arc, which drew 3 beautiful purple curves, traced across the throats of Nanjo and Kumasawa, who had been tending to him. And in an instant... Oof. Nanjo and Kumasawa's throats opened like gaping mouths, and then the blood really started spewing out. Yikes! I mean, the fact that it's purple should have been the sign, because wasn't Kanon's weapon red? But Shannon wasn't there, because Genji, who had been behind her, had wrapped his own arm around Shannon's neck and pulled her back. It all happened in an instant. Well. In the instant it took Goda to think fast in an attempt to understand this scene, the frozen moment in time shattered. Blood was gushing from Nanjo and Kumasawa's torn open necks. Kanon jumped and kicked off a picture frame that had been hanging from the wall behind him, sprinting forward just like a cat and aiming for Shannon's throat again. But Kanon's target once again disappeared from in front of him, because Genji had pulled Shannon again, and the two of them had fallen to the ground in a defensive crouch. Nice reflexes, you senile old furniture. Goda? Oh! Here he goes. Even Goda was no fool. Even if he couldn't fully understand what was going on, he at least realized that if this Kanon was at sea, his own life would also be in peril. He spun at Kanon with his huge body, pushing him up against the wall with all his weight and physical strength. Fat ass? No, that's rude. That's just rude. He's just big bone. Another purple curve was drawn from the tips of the fingers on Kanon's right hand. And when he raised that hand like a sword, aiming for Goda's back, there was a loud thunk, because Kanon's raised hand had been pinned to the wall. He couldn't tear his palm away from the wall. Sticking out from it was the knife Genji had thrown. Whoa! Nice aim! Under normal circumstances, it would have been surprising to see someone as old as Genji handle a knife so skillfully. But in this abnormal space, no one paid it much mind. Genji-sama, take this! And he took the handkerchief with the spiderweb stuck to it from Shannon, and he approached Kanon, who was pinned to the wall by Goda's massive body and the knife. Stop it! Get that away from me! Stop it! Stop! Oh? Ah, there we go. There was just a blank screen. I'm like, is something supposed to be happening? Genji pushed the handkerchief up against Kanon's face. There was a sound just like setting meat on a red-hot iron plate. That's gonna hurt. Of course, the smell was the same too. Oh, burning flesh. He was horribly burned, festering in filthy red and black, and crying out in his death throes. Kanon's body burst open and scatters. It did. Oh, okay. I was like, it did what? Almost as though a balloon filled with gold leaf had popped. The entire servage room was completely buried under a storm of gold leaf. No, a cloud of gold butterflies. Excuse me. Well, at least that sneeze waited until after all the dramatics. Bless you, thank you. It was the goat flesh burning, and it assaulted my senses. Those butterflies began to softly fade as though into water, or rather, to the empty air itself. And afterwards, all that was left was the 3 survivors sitting on their butts, stained with blood. However, not everyone was merely stained with blood. Some of them were lying on the ground, spurting out blood themselves. Kumasawa! Dr. Nanjo! Slits so sharp they looked like they'd cut your finger if you touched them, them opened wide, and large amounts of blood kept pouring out. What was that just now? Goda, have you been injured? I'm fine. But what did we just see? What happened? I know I pushed that thing against the wall with my own hand, but even I cannot understand what happened. Oda looked at his own hand. Bright red blood left from the scuffle with Kanon definitely remained. And yet, Kanon was nowhere to be seen. Because he had disappeared. He had transformed into gold butterflies and scattered. Golda kept screaming alone without a clue about what was going on. Shannon sobbed in front of Nanjo and Kumasawa's remains as Genji watched over her, silent as always. Well, that was a thing. Okay, very quickly, I'm gonna be right back. I need to blow my nose after that sneeze, and also I'm gonna grab some water. So give me un momento, and I will be back. Hold on. Alright, we good. Onwards for at least a little bit longer. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa were dead. What on earth are you talking about? Shannon! Goodness, you're safe. Yeah, that's how nice of you to mourn, your fallen companion. Something ever happened to you, why? Now she's oohing too. Oh, no, George, can't be quiet for a second. A murder occurred before your very eyes, right? Did you see the culprit? Or not? That is... How should I explain? Getsu-san? Even we cannot adequately explain what happened in front of us. It certainly happened right before our eyes. It was right in front of my eyes. However, it was, what was it? Even I don't understand. What are you saying? You couldn't have met anyone except the witch Beatrice, whose location has been unknown since yesterday. Or Kanun-kun, who's gone missing. Was it a man or a woman? You should be able to tell me at least that much, right? Rosa, calm down for a bit. Anyone would be confused if two people were taken out right in front of them. Goto-san? Genji-san? There's no need to rush. Tell us what happened. One thing at a time. As to that, how should I say it? Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san had been killed. We understood that much. And it seemed that it had occurred right in front of these people's eyes. So they spoke awkwardly. They admitted that they had definitely seen the crime with their own eyes. But when asked to explain what they had seen, their mouths went suddenly shut. Or suddenly shut? Went suddenly shut is kind of weird translation. I could understand why yet Rosa was irritated and flaring up. Shauna, did you see it? When Dr. Nanjo was attacked? Yes. Tell me. Just what you understand. What in the world happened? Someone came to the back door. That's right. Someone came up to the back door. Then, wondering who it was, I opened the door. Someone at the back door. Who was it? Let them finish! And after that, the person was stained with blood and had a large wound. We carried that person to the servants' room, and Dr. Nanjo immediately began first aid. It was a very deep wound. Like I said, who are you talking about? Don't know. Certainly in the beginning, I thought that was the case. No, I still think that. But what in the world was that? I don't know. I don't know. The manner that did match his large body. Goda held his head and scratched at it. didn't have a clue if he was confused because he couldn't remember, or because he'd seen something terrifying and he couldn't accept it. And Shannon looked the same way. If she let her guard down, what she'd seen just a short while ago would quickly melt away like daydream. And she wouldn't be able to remember anything. That's what she looked like. Only Genji looked composed as usual. So the questions were naturally directed at him. However, even Genji took some time before he spoke and had to gather his thoughts. Genji-san? You saw it, right? Who came in through the back door? First, he believed that person was Kanan. You see? He was alive after all. My theory was correct. Rosa, calm down. At first, you mean that your impression changed later, right? Yes. I cannot explain with words what happened after that. Killed Dr. Nando and Kumasawa, then disappeared. At that time, he was definitely not Kanan. Yes, that's right. It's just as Genji-san says. You really couldn't explain it with words. Do you have the same opinion? Yes, I can only say the same thing. If we give their claims the benefit of the doubt, it means that Rosa's first conclusion was correct. Kanan had appeared near the back door to the kitchen with a serious injury. Then he had been taken to the servant room and cared for. And after that, something terrifying had happened. So were these people so convinced that Kanan-kun couldn't possibly have done such a thing? That they'd started to suspect whether it had even been Kanan-kun at all? In other words, that means Kanan-kun did appear. No matter how confused they are, no matter how they muddle their words, that's what it meant in the end. So does that mean that after all, Kanan-kun used some trick to escape that room even though it was locked? No, that doesn't matter anymore. The real problem is that Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa were killed. And Rosa had claimed that Kanan-kun was behind this from the very beginning. No matter how confused these people are, no matter how much they try to deny it, they're halfway confirming that she was right. But even so, for some reason, it felt like their awkwardness couldn't be explained by confusion alone. What did they see? Like they said, did they really see something that couldn't be explained with words? And Rosa, who decided that further talk wouldn't get us anywhere, concluded her questioning and said she wanted to check the two bodies. That was something I'd been wanting to do too. If those of us who hadn't been at the scene calmly looked at the corpses, we might find something. But it was a little surprising to learn that Aunt Rosa was also concerned about the bodies. Even at this point, I still wanted to use any clues I could find to expose the culprit and the truth myself. But it should have been different in Aunt Rosa's case. Hasn't Aunt Rosa prioritized staying safe over finding the culprit? I couldn't really see why she would go to all that trouble of leaving our barricade in the parlor. Just because she wanted to check on the bodies. We will all go to the servant room together. If we all move together, it'll be safe. Maria, stop playing with scribbles. Oh, not scribbles. I'm solving Beatrice's puzzle. Oh. Beatrice's puzzle? What's that? Show me too. Aunt Rosa, are you, bringing Maria-chan too? It seemed that George Aniki was against the idea of bringing Maria to the bloody crime scene. But considering that Maria would be all alone if left here, it'd surely be much safer to take Maria with us. In the end, it was just Aniki's irresponsible humanism. We decided that all of us, including Maria, would go to the servants' room. The bed in the servant room was stained bright red with blood. No, not just the bed. The whole room was covered with a gruesome paint from countless bloodstains. You know? Yeah. I was just thinking about what went on in that room. I'm like, yeah, that room should be pretty much covered in blood. That dreadful scene alone was enough to give us an idea of the repulsive sight they'd been trying to describe. Ugh. I want to look too! Maria-chan, wait here with me! George Aniki was standing by the entrance, covering Maria's eyes with his back to the room. He probably didn't want to dirty an innocent girl's retinas with the repulsive blood in this room. Yeah, fair enough. That was surely the correct decision. I was acting tough right now, so I didn't mind. But for the rest of my life, whenever I see red paint scattered around, I'll probably remember this room and start to vomit. Yay, PTSD! My retinas have already had this room burned into them. In other words, it's already too late for me. Huh. Where did they... Right after they'd entered the servant room, Goda-san and Shannon-chan trembled. We shook, wondering what horrible new situation had arisen to make them tremble again. What happened? What is it? Rosa also shuddered, raising her gun high and searching for whatever it was that had made them shudder. But she couldn't find it. It was only natural. They were trembling because they couldn't find it. Hey, what in the world is going on? The two bodies. And here. What does this mean? That can't be. These two were definitely here. Wait. What the hell are you saying? The corpses just walked off somewhere? That couldn't happen, right? I mean, wasn't the servants' room locked? Did you unlock the door when you came in just now? So, what does that mean? It means nothing good. Someone's disappeared from inside a closed room again? Again. That's ridiculous. Don't have a clue what's happened either. When we left this room, we definitely locked it. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. There was a timid, pitiful smile on Goda-san's face that he definitely wouldn't show anyone normally. Shannon was the same. Two corpses disappeared. And furthermore, they disappeared while the door was locked. Even if Kanam-kun was the culprit, he shouldn't have had a master key anymore. That's wrong. Kanam-kun isn't the culprit. Shannon? I believe Shannon. Kanam-kun is not the culprit. This must be the doing of someone who looks a lot like him. He's got a secret twin. We're all cooked. No. Kanam-kun could have gotten a master key. After all, his master key was found in the pocket of Jessica Chan's corpse. And who took that key? That's right. It was Dr. Nanjo. That's right, back then. It was definitely Dr. Nanjo who searched through Jessica's clothes and found the master key. So if someone had the opportunity to search Dr. Nanjo's corpse, it would have been easy for them to take the master key back. And Rosa searched under the bed and in the locker. By now, I also understood what that meant. If you assume there are two culprits, this can be easily explained. The first person was Kanam-kun, or maybe an imposter who looked like him. He finished off Dr. Nanjo and ran off somewhere. The second person was probably the 19th person, Beatrice, whose location was unknown. That person hid under the bed in the servant room beforehand, and while Dr. Nanjo's body was enshrined here, they waited for Genji-san and the rest to leave. Then later, they crawled out to took the master key back from Dr. Nanjo's pocket and carried the two corpses away for some reason. If they then locked the door with the master room key, you'd end up with this closed room. You constructed that one pretty fast, basing it off your reasoning from Jessica's room. With that method, you could create a closed room even without magic. Should I give you passing marks? However, interestingly enough, there's one thing you mustn't forget. If the culprit took back the master key as you suggest, they must have known that Nanjo took the master key from Jessica's body. You don't have to tell me that. They're probably trying to say that it's information only the people in that place at that time could know. Ha! This third closed room was crushed so fast that you're stuck trying to make hurtful remarks like that. There's no art in repeating the same content over and over. I may have managed to bluff, but that move of the witches hurt bad. I can tell that I'm cracking under the thing I want to deny the most. This person's trying to close in on me from two directions. On the one hand, there's the frontal attack, where she tries to force me to believe that there's a witch using closed room tricks that only a witch could do. And on the other hand, there's the rear attack, where she tries to lure me into wanting a witch to exist. By strengthening my suspicion of those close to me. In the first closed room, the chapel, she used the frontal attack, but it didn't work on me. So by the second closed room, and now on the third closed room, she's definitely changing the direction of her attack. However, the fact that she is changing the direction of her attack proves that my resistance is having some effect. And she must have given up on the frontal attack, because she clearly can't win with it. I tried to settle my unease by thinking these things. But, apparently, the witch had seen through me long ago. I will not abandon my frontal attack. A rear attack only has meaning because it advances at the same time as the front. If I were to degenerate into only using the rear attack, it would merely result in a foolish plan where my means have become my goal. Really? Well then, won't you repeat someone was hiding in the servant room using that red you're so proud of? There is no need. The premise of your theory is about to be destroyed. Oh really? You refuse? So someone really is hiding? Rosa will destroy your premise right now. Come, let's listen in. Please believe us, Rosa-sama. The two corpses were definitely lying here. The bright red blood on the floor is theirs. And Rosa began to search through various objects around the room. Her back to Goda-san as he cried out in supplication. Eventually, she found something, and for a while, stopped moving. Rosa-sama, we definitely heard lying. The two corpses were definitely here. Be quiet. The person who hit the corpses has confessed that they took them to another place. With this, Rosa showed them a single sheet of paper over her shoulder. What on earth is that? Could it be a letter in a sealed envelope just like in the chapel? Yes, that's right. It was set here, out in the open. I'll read it. Members of the Ushinomiya family and its household. Have you reached the climax of the riddle of the gold's epitaph? There is only one way you can all stop me, by solving the epitaph's riddle. There are no other options left to you that will result in the suspension of my ceremony. I humbly ask that you take care not to misunderstand your current situation. Searching for me will prove useless. Attempting to escape will prove useless. Trying to deny me will prove useless. Beatrice the Golden. P.S. I borrowed those 2 corpses for my ceremony. They will be returned to you in due time, so I crave your indulgence. Also, these keys belong to you, so I return them to you now. As Rosa read that aloud, the contents of the envelope lay exposed on the palm of her hand. There were 2 master keys, but there's 3 keys! The master key that Nanjo had found in Jessica's pocket, which had originally been Kanon's, and Kumasawa's master key. Uh-oh. What the hell? So, what does this mean? Damn you again? You're saying I can only suspect the servants with keys again? I won't say it in red, okay? I won't deny the possibility that after they locked the door and left, someone was hiding in this room, okay? If they hid under the bed, it still would have been possible for them to carry the corpses somewhere. They wouldn't have been able to lock the door. The master key they went to all that trouble to get was left right here. That's right, I'd forgotten. What about the key specifically for this room? The servant room keys. Indeed, those are kept in the key box in the center of the servant room. There are several servant room keys, but all of those are inside the key box. Which means the situation is exactly the same as Jessica's room. It's not like the servants would walk around with an unnecessary key when they have those convenient master keys. I can accept that they're all kept in the key box. And the other condition remain unchanged as well. Entry and exit are impossible except for the single door and the single window. Therefore, hidden doors and irregular methods of entry cannot exist. Rejoice, great detectives. And those were both locked. The door and the window do not permit any kind of entry or exit when they are locked. So, it wouldn't work to remove the door and make a crack to slide in through or anything like that while the lock is still set. And obviously, it's impossible to unlock the door without a servant room key or the master key. It's a pain having to read all those aloud every time. Sooner or later, I should think of a word to put this all together and abbreviate it. But you can't repeat that someone was hiding in this room. However, that alone won't break open the door of a closed room. Damn it! Damn it! It's useless! It's all useless! What happened to that spinning the chessboard around thing you're so proud of and another dollar in the bank? please, announce your boastful, strange theory. Spin the chessboard around. $2 in the bank. What would I do if I were the culprit? I carry the corpses off somewhere. I leave a letter. I lock the door from the inside. I just have to escape this room by some means. Damn it, is that even possible? I was told in red that you can't get outside except through the door and the window. At that moment, I got it. That's right. You want to share with the class, Battler? The culprit carried the corpse away, left the letter. And since they didn't use a hidden door, they weren't able to escape. That's it. This isn't a question. It's an answer. Beto? Or Beato, I guess. Before I ask you to repeat anything, I want to check the definition of hidden doors that you're using. What have you thought of? Very well, I'll explain. A hidden door refers to an entrance or exit that cannot be recognized by those who don't know of it beforehand. Okay. Even children know that. So in other words, if you can't get outside the room with it, it isn't a hidden door? Ew, but it could be like a hidden closet or something, like a trap door to a cellar where you could hide and no one knows it's there. Clever, 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 Battler. Oh, so that's your game. I keep thinking there needed to be some way for the culprit to escape from the closed room. That's wrong. The culprit couldn't escape. So they decided to hide until we all left. During the second closed room, I tried applying this theory to Kanon-kun. But after hearing Kanon-kun was killed in red, I gave it up. After that, I proposed that a third person might have been in the room before escaping through a hidden door. And then, for the first time, I was faced with the red claim that no hidden doors exist. Now, move from there to what I've just learned. The term hidden door refers to things that make it possible to enter or leave the room. other words, that category doesn't cover things that don't actually lead in or out of the room, even if these things could never be recognized by people who didn't know about them beforehand. So if we had something like a hidden shelf or a secret closet, for example, that wouldn't count as a hidden door. That means the third person from Jessica's room is hiding here, waiting for us to leave. How pathetic. It was all just a bit of wordplay. Looks like that technique should be enough to handle even this closed room. If there's a hidden shelf under the bed or anything like that, that'd be enough. The culprit's hiding somewhere, waiting for us to leave. The culprit is also trapped in this closed room even now, which means at this very moment, the culprit is still hiding in the servant room, holding their breath. And that means... What the hell? Though we'd been tortured by closed rooms 3 times, at this very moment, we've actually gotten the culprit in checkmate. I'm finally starting to see it. Eat this, Beatle! Repeat it! There is no one in this room other than us. By us, I mean George, Aniki, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Golda-san, and Shannon-chan. Got it? What do you think? You can't say it, right? Oh. I'll bet that hits you where it hurts. If you refuse, then say it, damn it. Here comes the next one. Repeat it. I don't know how they're hiding in this room. But if they are, then this solves the second closed room, Jessica's room, at the same time. I finally caught her by the tail. With this, I can explain everything. Witches don't exist, and I don't have to suspect anyone anymore. Alright, starting now. I'll spin this all around. Chessboard, let's go! Now I'll have her repeat it. No one exists in this room except your group. Your group refers to Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, and Shannon. What? Let's go back to Jessica's room. When Jessica's corpse was discovered, only Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, Shana, Kumasawa, and Nanjo were in Jessica's room. Whoops! The corpse of Jessica is also included. Therefore, both in the case involving Jessica's room and the one involving the servant room, no humans exist that you are unaware of. Oh, this ain't good, huh? No one is hiding. And I'll say more. No method exists by which the door can be locked from the outside without using a key. And let me also say this. You are incompetent. Why is her laughing, Red? Mess! It's really a closed room, isn't it? And just when I'd finally managed to think of a way out. If you were hiding, that would fit everything. Just when I thought I'd broken through your trick, damn it. Oh no, God, he's crying. Oh, don't cry. You're giving her exactly what she wants. It's useless, it's useless, it's all useless. For a second, I thought I had it. It's all useless. I'm so sure that I'd finally seen through her. I'd seen how she distracted me. With clever red wordplay and fooled me just when I thought I'd found a light in the darkness. It disappeared. Just disappeared, swallowed up by a blood-red sea! Ah! This is a little blinding! When your screen suddenly gets much brighter, it's like, ah! No one is hiding! And there's no hidden door and no way to get past the door or the windows while they're locked. This is really bright. Oh my God. Remember, everyone, this is why, they have rules about readability on websites. Red and white might be visible. You might be able to read it, but it's still freaking hard on the eyes. Have you just proven that it's all impossible? Jeannie's so mad all she can see is red. Ah! Glad that that I started using like a purple and like blue for my gaming screen stuff, because if I was still using pink, this would be way too much red, like red colored stuff on a screen. Has the devil's poop been fulfilled with a frontal attack? It's impossible! Thank God. Oh! Blink! We're free! We're free! Whew! What's wrong, Ushino Mia Battler? Weren't you so confident in your ability to deny witches? Why are you groveling and raining out bitter tears in a place like this? Yes, what a truly splendid tactic. Truly splendid how you're trying to make me fall over and drown in a sea of tears from my own laughter. That is what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to make me laugh and laugh myself to death, right, Ushino Mia Battler? What are you calling magic? I'll definitely prove that witches don't exist. I definitely won't believe in you. Definitely won't accept that! sorry for bullying you so much. I'll spin the chessboard around from my side. Thank you so much for spinning the chessboard around. You're so nice. I'll stand in your place and show you the best possible move you can make. Want to hear? Don't screw with me. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. Consider Jessica's room. We were off to a good start, you know that? All that about hiding and waiting for everyone else to leave. That truly was well spotted. But why did you only think of Kanon and me, the 19th person? I see, so the hide part of hiding and waiting got in the way, which prevented you from going any further. Come on, you see what I'm getting at, don't you? It's Jessica. Jessica! If Jessica were the culprit, a farce like this could be easily constructed. She killed Kanon and carried him off somewhere. Then she played dead and let us walk by. Okay, but... Then... Dr. Nanjo didn't actually feel her pulse? He just pretended? That's ridiculous. Dr. Nanjo definitely confirmed that she was dead. So was Dr. Nanjo an accomplice too? That's wrong. I also confirmed that Jessica was dead. Of course, I've never examined a corpse before, but she was definitely dead. I think she was dead. No, that's probably, surely, definitely what I thought, but certainly... Wait, she was dead! She was dead! Jessica was in on it. Nanjo, who examined her corpse, was in on it too. And that makes the third closed room a farce, doesn't it? Yeah, then it's simple. Dr. Nanjo was in on it, so in other words, he's on the culprit's side, which means... He was never dead in the first place? We thought his body disappeared after he was killed, but what if he was never in the servant room to begin with? Kumasawa Ba-chan disappeared with them, does that mean she's in on it too? That's not all. The servants will agree to keep to that story. Genji-san and Koda-san and even Shanan-chan were also in on it. Then, the one who stole the key from Maria's handbag was Jessica. No, it couldn't even been George Aniki. After all, if Shanan is on the culprit's side, that automatically makes George Aniki on the culprit's side. Rip. When you're such a simp that they're like, well, if she's a murderer, that automatically means George is okay with this. Wait a second. They're all wolves. They're all wolves. Not only am I drowning in an ocean of bright red blood, wolves clambering on the banks, whose blazing eyes tell me that they'll eat me if I crawl out. way should I die? Which way should I die? Rose just accepted that he's gonna die. Wow. Should I deny everything and drown in a bright red sea? Or should I learn the truth and have my whole body chewed to bits by the wolves? It's either one hell or the other. I can't choose. Ah! Oh, there it goes. Is he okay? He is not. That's why I'm here. Huh. Ushido Miya Battler and Neo. Why is that in red? That's not true. Swear your eternal loyalty and lick my shoes. If you accept me, all of the riddles will be resolved. Oh gosh, he's multiplying. With my power, any kind of closed room can be created or destroyed. Battler, don't you want to abandon yourself to the joy of surrendering to one with power? Not really. I'll make you my favorite furniture. I'll love you so much and make you my toy until you turn to ashes. Well, there's someone on the internet who's into that. But I sure ain't. Well, this is probably a good place to stop for now. Good timing. Slightly later, but I wanted to make sure we got to 3 hours and also got to the end of a scene. That was a good stopping point, so here we go. Da-da-da. And thus we continue. Man. These guys are having a grand old time. Looking at the fandom page without like actually reading anything, just getting a sense of what scene we're in, looks like we're getting pretty close to finishing chapter 2. Let's see. We're almost at the end of one scene of like this current scene, we'll call it, because they break things up into different like tables basically. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there's 3, and then it goes to Banquet of the Witch. Oh, no. Yeah, so there's 4 scenes, and then it's the tea party and, you know, the question mark. So about 6 scenes, and we're done. So, hey, we're doing pretty good then. Comfy day or nay? Always comfy day. All right. Do-do-do-do-do. Guys. So either 2 hours or 2 weeks. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm not sure how quickly I read compared to these summaries, but at least it gives us an idea. Alright, but yeah, guys, 3 more sleeps, and the Somnium is out. It just hit me today is Tuesday. I'm like, then it's Wednesday, then it's Thursday, and then Friday the game's out. I'm so excited. So excited. Blessy Duna, I have been talking nothing about how excited I am for this game. Have a wonderful rest of your day and stay amazing. And of course, I will pep and Mogu for you. Okay. Speaking of which, hello. Pep, are you Pep? Yes, you're Pep. There she is. She was right. She was being a menace right beside me. Alrighty. I will send you guys over to Junie. She's playing some more FF8. So here we go. Here is... Oh. Are you Pep? I couldn't see. I couldn't see in the corner. Because remember, I have to look down at them. And they were like sort of hiding halfway behind the chair. So it's like, which one are you? Like I can't tell from these angles. So here is Raid. The more of a pest you are, Pep, the longer it's gonna take me to finish, and then the longer it's gonna take for you to get food. Do you understand? Blink once for yes, 2 for no. No, you're just not gonna... Okay. Okay, she does not understand. She does not care. She maintained eye contact while I scolded her, then immediately went back to where she had been trying to destroy stuff. Okay. I better run before this child does something crazy. Alrighty. That's gonna be it for me. So, if it's daytime where you are, have a wonderful rest of your day. And if it's nighttime, have a great rest when you head on off to bed. Until next time, take care of yourself. Wash your face, brush your teeth, eat a good food. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.